Hello students, in today's session let's learn about the morphology, anatomy and reproduction in Rixia. Rixia is one of the most widely distributed genus of family Rixiaceae. It is widely distributed in both tropical and temperate regions of the world, and this genus is represented in India by about 33 species. Now let's have a look at the morphology of Rixia. As you can see here, plant body of Rixia is gametophytic and gametophytes are fleshy, prostrate and dichotomously branched. The dorsal surface is light green or dark green body, each branch having a thick midrib. It is traversed by a conspicuous median longitudinal groove and ends in a depression at the apical region, forming an apical notch. The ventral surface of thallus bears many scales and rhizoids. Scales are violet colored, multicellular and one-celled thick structures, whereas rhizoids are unicellular and unbranched and are of two types, smooth-walled rhizoids and tuberculate rhizoids. Now let's discuss about the anatomy of Rixia. A vertical cross-section of the thallus shows two distinct zones, that is upper photosynthetic zone and lower storage zone. The photosynthetic region is green dorsal on upper region of the thallus. It is made of somewhat vertical rows of unbranched photosynthetic filaments. All the cells of the photosynthetic filament except the uppermost one are isodiametric and possess many discoid chloroplasts. The terminal cells of the photosynthetic filaments are large, hyaline and form loose, ill-defined and discontinuous one-celled thick epidermis. However, this zone represents the ventral tissue of the thallus and lies below the photosynthetic zone. It consists of compactly arranged parenchymatous cells. These cells are devoid of chlorophyll and contain starch as reserve food material. The lowermost cell layer of this zone forms lower epidermis. Some cells of this lower epidermis extend to form the scales and both types of rhizoids. Now let's discuss the various methods of reproduction in Rixia. Rixia reproduces by vegetative as well as sexual methods. Vegetative reproduction in Rixia is quite common and takes place by the death and decay of the older portion of the thallus, by adventitious branches, by persistent apices and by tubers and rhizoids. Sexual reproduction in Rixia is oogamous type. Here male reproductive bodies are known as antheridia and female are archegonia. Antheridia and archegonia remain enclosed within an antheridial and archegonial chambers and develop on the dorsal surface of the thallus. Now we will discuss about the development of antheridium and archegonium. The development of antheridium starts from a superficial antheridial cell situated on the dorsal surface of the thallus. It is a few 2 to 3 cells away from the apical cell. The antheridial initial enlarges in size, becomes papillate and divides first by a transverse division to form an upper outer cell and a lower basal cell. The basal cells remain embedded in the tissue of the thallus, undergoes only a little further development and forms the embedded portion of the antheridial stalk. The outer cell divides by transverse division to form a filament of 4 cells. Upper 2 cells of the 4-cell filament are known as primary antheridial cells and the lower 2 cells are known as primary stalk cells. The primary stalk cells form the stalk of the antheridium. Primary antheridial cells divide by 2 successive vertical divisions at right angles to each other to form 2 tiers of 4 cells each. This is followed by a periclinal division and is laid down in both the tiers of 4 cells, and there is the formation of 8 outer sterile jacket initials and 8 inner primary androgonial cell. Jacket initials divide by several anticlinal division to form a single layer of antheridial jacket. Primary androgonial cells divide by several repeated transverse and vertical divisions, resulting in the formation of large number of small cuboidal androgonial cells. The last generation of the androgonial cell is known as the androcyte mother cells. Now, through the process of spermatogenesis, the androcyte mother cell will metamorphose into anthrozoids. The anthrozoids are liberated from the antheridial chamber when water is absorbed and it breaks the jacket layer. The development of archegonium starts on the dorsal surface of the thallus from a single superficial cell which acts as an archegonial initial. This initial enlarges, becomes papillate, and first divides transversely into a basal cell and an outer cell. There is no further division in the basal cell, and it forms the embedded portion of the archegonium. The entire archegonium develops from the outer cell. This outer cell divides by 3 successive intersecting walls, resulting in the formation of 3 peripheral initial and a 4th median cell, the primary axial cell. Each of the 3 peripheral initials divides by an anticlinal vertical division, forming 2 cells. In this way, the primary axial cells get surrounded by 6 cells. These cells are called jacket initials. 6 jacket initials divide transversely into upper neck initial tier and lower venter initial tier. Neck initials tier divide by repeated transverse division to form a tube-like neck. Neck of the archegonium consists of 6 vertical rows, and each row consists of 6 to 9 cells. Venter initial tier also divide by repeated transverse division to form a single layer of solen venter. Simultaneously, the primary axial small cell divides transversely and unequally to form small upper primary cover cell and large lower central cell. The central cell divides into upper primary neck canal cell and lower venter cell. Primary neck canal cell divides by a series of transverse division to form 4 neck canal cell. Primary venter cell divides only once and forms a small venter canal cell and a large X. The primary cover cell divides by 2 vertical division at right angle to one another, forming 4 cover cells which form the mouth of the archegonium. Now let us see how fertilization takes place. The liberated anthrozoids enter the archegonial neck because of the chemotactic response and reach up to the egg. One of the anthrozoids penetrates the egg and fertilization is effected. The fusion of the nuclei and of male and female gamete results in the formation of diploid zygote or oospore. After fertilization, the diploid zygote or oospore enlarges until it completely fills the cavity of the venter of the archegonium. A wall is then secreted around the oospore. The act of fertilization also stimulates the division of the wall of the venter. It divides anticlinally and periclinally to form 2-layered calyptra along the developing sporophyte. Within the sporophyte, the zygote undergoes repeated division to form spore mother cells, and by the process of sporogenesis these cells undergoes meiotic division to form the tetrad spores. Spores are not immediately dispersed in Rixia. There is no special method of dispersal. Spores remain inside the thallus for 1 year or so and disperse after the death and decay of the calyptra and the surrounding tissue. Hope you have got a good insight on the morphology, anatomy and reproduction in Rixia. Until we meet again, bye.